Hello and welcome. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed that your body doesn't recover the way it used to? Maybe you're feeling more tired, your memory isn't quite as sharp, or simple everyday tasks seem to require more effort than they did just a few years ago. Most people assume it's just part of getting older. But what if your body has actually been sending you warning signs for years? In today's video, we'll explore 7 science-backed signs that your body may be aging faster than it should, and, more importantly, what you can start doing today to help slow that process naturally. Let's get started.
Have you ever looked at someone your own age and wondered why they seem full of energy while you feel like your body is quietly slowing down? What if I told you that aging doesn't always follow the number on your driver's license? 2 people can both be 50 years old. One hikes mountains, remembers every conversation, and wakes up refreshed. The other struggles to get through the afternoon without another cup of coffee, wakes up stiff every morning, and blames it all on getting older. So what makes the difference? The surprising answer is that your body often begins revealing clues years before serious health problems appear. Most people simply don't recognize those clues because they arrive slowly, almost silently, blending into everyday life. Today we're going to explore 7 warning signs that your body may be aging faster than it should. These signs don't automatically mean something is seriously wrong. Many can have harmless explanations, and they should never replace medical advice. But they are signals worth paying attention to, because understanding them early may give you the opportunity to make meaningful changes. And here's the encouraging part. Many of the biological processes that contribute to faster aging are influenced by everyday habits. They are not completely outside your control. By the end of this video, you'll understand not only what these signs can mean, but why they happen, what modern science has discovered about them, and most importantly, what practical steps may help slow the process. Let's begin with something millions of adults over 40 experience every single day: persistent fatigue. Not the kind that follows a busy weekend, not the exhaustion after helping your grandchildren move furniture. I'm talking about the feeling that your battery never seems to reach 100%. Have you ever woken up after what should have been a full night's sleep and still felt like you needed another 8 hours? If so, you're certainly not alone. Most people immediately blame stress, or work, or age. But what if your body is trying to tell you something much deeper? Imagine your body as a city. Every cell is like a tiny house that depends on electricity 24 hours a day. Deep inside each cell are microscopic structures called mitochondria. You can think of them as millions of tiny power stations producing the energy that keeps every organ alive. When you're younger, these power stations usually run efficiently. Lights stay on, machines work smoothly, everything feels responsive. But over time, especially when sleep, nutrition, physical activity, or chronic stress are less than ideal, some of those power stations begin producing less energy. It's as though an entire city is experiencing rolling blackouts. The lights still work, just not as brightly. And your body starts making difficult decisions about where to spend its limited energy. Instead of investing in muscle repair, instead of supporting sharp thinking, instead of maintaining healthy skin, it begins prioritizing only the most essential functions needed to keep you alive. That doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually. So gradually that many people simply accept it as normal aging. But here's the fascinating part. Research suggests that reduced energy production isn't always caused by age itself. Poor sleep quality, low physical activity, excess body fat, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, even prolonged emotional stress, can all influence how efficiently your cellular power stations perform. In other words, sometimes your calendar isn't making you feel older, your biology is. And this is exactly why persistent fatigue deserves attention. Not because it predicts disease, but because it may be one of the earliest reminders that your body is asking for support. So what can you do? Fortunately, some of the most effective strategies are also the simplest. Regular walking, strength training a few times each week, prioritizing consistent sleep, eating enough protein, managing blood sugar through balanced meals. These habits won't turn back the clock overnight, but they can help your body's power stations work more efficiently again. Now here's where the story becomes even more interesting. What if your body isn't just running out of energy? What if it's also quietly losing strength? Let's talk about the second warning sign. You feel weaker than you used to. Think back 10 years. Maybe carrying grocery bags felt effortless. Maybe climbing stairs barely crossed your mind. Maybe getting up from the floor happened without planning every movement. Now imagine your muscles as a retirement savings account. When you're younger, deposits happen almost automatically. Your body builds muscle relatively easily. Recovery is faster. Strength comes naturally. But after 40, the rules begin to change. Without realizing it, many people stop making fewer deposits while continuing to make withdrawals every single day. A little less movement, a little more sitting, a little less protein, a few more skipped workouts. Year after year, the account slowly shrinks. Not dramatically, quietly, until one day opening a heavy door feels surprisingly difficult, or lifting your suitcase suddenly requires both hands, or getting out of a low chair takes a little extra effort. Most people shrug and say, "I'm just getting older." But science paints a much more hopeful picture. Yes, we naturally lose muscle with age. However, inactivity often accelerates that process far more than aging alone. Muscle is much more than something that helps you look fit. It acts like one of your body's largest metabolic engines. Healthy muscle helps regulate blood sugar, supports balance, protects bones, improves mobility, even contributes to healthier brain function. Imagine your muscles as thousands of tiny shock absorbers protecting every joint every time you walk. As those shock absorbers become thinner, your knees work harder, your hips compensate, your posture changes. Simple movements gradually require more effort. Suddenly, everyday life feels heavier. Here's something many people never hear. Loss of strength often begins years before obvious muscle loss becomes visible in the mirror. That means your body may be whispering long before it starts shouting. Fortunately, this is one of the most reversible aspects of biological aging. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. Research consistently shows that resistance training, even just 2 or 3 sessions per week, can improve strength well into your 70s and 80s. Combined with adequate protein, regular movement throughout the day, and sufficient recovery, your muscles remain remarkably adaptable. Your body is constantly listening to the signals you send it. Movement tells it, stay strong. Inactivity tells it, we don't need this anymore. And your biology responds accordingly. But what if your muscles aren't the first place your body reveals its age? What if the next clues appear somewhere you look every single morning? Right in the mirror. Because the next sign surprises almost everyone, and it has far less to do with wrinkles than most people imagine. Before we move on, take a moment to think about the last time you looked in the mirror. Not to fix your hair, not to shave, not to put on makeup, but to really look. Have you noticed that your face seems more tired than it used to, even after a good night's sleep? Have you caught yourself thinking that your skin suddenly looks thinner, duller, or less vibrant?
Most people assume this is simply what getting older looks like. But there is one detail that almost nobody talks about. Your skin is often one of the earliest windows into what's happening inside your body. It doesn't just reflect your age, it reflects your biology. Imagine your skin as the exterior wall of a beautiful house. When the foundation is strong, the walls remain smooth, flexible, and resilient. But if tiny cracks begin forming beneath the surface, the paint eventually starts peeling. The walls lose their firmness. The signs appear outside long after the changes began inside. Your skin works much the same way. Every single day, your body builds and repairs an intricate network of collagen and elastin. Think of collagen as the steel framework inside a skyscraper. It provides structure, strength, support. Elastin is more like thousands of tiny elastic bands woven throughout that framework. It allows your skin to stretch, then bounce back. When we're younger, this rebuilding process runs almost around the clock. Old fibers are replaced, damage is repaired, everything stays remarkably balanced. But after 40, the pace begins to slow. The body gradually produces less collagen. Sun exposure accumulates. Poor sleep leaves less time for repair. Smoking dramatically accelerates damage. Blood sugar that remains elevated too often can gradually affect proteins throughout the body, including collagen itself. Imagine pouring sticky syrup over thousands of tiny elastic threads every day. Eventually, they begin sticking together. They become less flexible, less resilient. Scientists call this process glycation. You don't need to remember the word, just remember the image. A once flexible fabric slowly becoming stiff. And here's what makes this fascinating. Those same processes don't affect only your skin. They may also influence blood vessels, joints, eyes, and other tissues throughout the body. That's why dermatologists often say the skin can reveal much more than cosmetic aging. It may reflect what's happening beneath the surface. But here's the encouraging news. The mirror isn't predicting your future. It's showing where you are today. Your skin is constantly renewing itself. Every month, millions of skin cells are replaced. Every healthy night of sleep gives your body another opportunity to repair. Every nutritious meal provides new building materials. Daily sunscreen helps prevent further ultraviolet damage. Strength training and regular exercise improve circulation, helping deliver oxygen and nutrients to skin cells. Eating enough protein gives your body the amino acids it needs to maintain collagen. Small choices repeated consistently often matter far more than expensive creams. Healthy skin begins long before moisturizer ever touches your face. But here's a question that's even more important.
What if the most noticeable sign of accelerated aging isn't something you see? It's something you feel every time you try to remember a name. Let's talk about the fourth warning sign. Your memory doesn't seem as sharp as it used to be. Now let's be clear. Occasionally forgetting where you left your keys is incredibly common. Walking into a room and wondering why you came there happens to almost everyone. Those moments alone are not reliable signs of disease. Our brains are wonderfully complex. Sometimes they're simply distracted. Sometimes they're overloaded. Sometimes they're multitasking far more than they were designed to. But here's where many people become concerned. What if those moments begin happening more often? Imagine your brain as one of the busiest cities in the world. Billions of nerve cells communicate every second. Tiny electrical messages race through an enormous network of roads and highways. When traffic flows smoothly, thoughts arrive quickly. Names appear effortlessly. Conversations feel easy. Now imagine that city during rush hour. Construction zones appear, traffic slows, detours develop. Nothing has completely stopped, but everything takes a little longer. That is a useful way to picture what can happen as the brain ages. Communication between nerve cells may become slightly less efficient. Blood flow may gradually change. Sleep quality may decline. Inflammation can quietly increase. Physical inactivity may reduce one of the brain's greatest protective factors, and chronic stress can keep the brain in a constant state of high alert, making it much harder to store and retrieve memories. Many people blame aging alone, but scientists now understand that brain aging is influenced by many lifestyle factors throughout adulthood. Your brain is far more adaptable than researchers once believed. In fact, one of the most exciting discoveries in neuroscience is that the brain continues changing throughout life. Think of it like a forest. Every new skill creates another walking path. Every meaningful conversation strengthens an existing trail. Regular physical activity improves blood flow like opening new roads. Quality sleep sends in maintenance crews overnight, clearing away waste products and reinforcing important connections. Even learning something as simple as a new recipe or a new language gives the brain another reason to grow. This ability is called neuroplasticity. You don't have to remember the word, just remember this. Your brain is not a statue carved in stone. It's more like a living garden. The more wisely you care for it, the more resilient it can become. One practical habit stands out again and again in scientific research: regular aerobic exercise. A brisk walk, cycling, swimming, anything that safely raises your heart rate for a sustained period. These activities don't just strengthen your heart, they nourish your brain by increasing blood flow and stimulating substances that help nerve cells survive and form new connections. Equally important, protect your sleep. Deep sleep is when your brain performs much of its nightly housekeeping. Imagine an entire cleaning crew working while you sleep, clearing debris and preparing the brain for another day. Cutting that process short night after night is like asking a city to function without ever cleaning its streets. But perhaps the most surprising sign of accelerated aging isn't visible, isn't physical, and doesn't begin in your muscles or your skin. It begins with something many people overlook every single day: your balance. And what scientists have discovered about balance after 40 may completely change the way you think about aging. Have you ever caught yourself reaching for a wall? Not because you were dizzy, but simply because your body didn't feel quite as steady as it once did? Maybe you step off a curb and need an extra second to regain your balance. Maybe you notice yourself holding the handrail on stairs when you never used to. Or perhaps standing on one leg while putting on your shoes suddenly feels more challenging than it did a few years ago. Most people barely notice these moments. They laugh them off. I guess I'm just getting older. But what if your body is quietly sending one of its most important messages? Balance is something we rarely appreciate until it begins to change. Think about a world-class orchestra. Dozens of musicians, every instrument playing at exactly the right moment. If only one section falls slightly out of sync, the audience immediately notices that something feels different. Your balance works the same way. It depends on three remarkable systems performing together every second of your life. Your eyes constantly tell your brain where you are. Tiny sensors inside your muscles and joints report how every limb is positioned. Deep inside your inner ears, microscopic structures filled with fluid detect every movement of your head. Your brain receives millions of pieces of information every second. It compares them almost instantly, then sends instructions back to your muscles before you're even aware that anything happened. Imagine the conductor of an orchestra directing thousands of musicians with perfect timing. That's what your brain is doing every time you take a single step. Now imagine that a few musicians begin arriving just a fraction of a second late. The music doesn't stop.
but it becomes less precise. That subtle delay is often how balance changes begin. Not dramatically, gradually. After 40, several biological changes can begin influencing this system. Muscle strength may slowly decline. Reaction time may become slightly slower. Vision can change. The sensory cells inside the inner ear naturally become less sensitive over time. Certain medications can also affect balance. Even poor sleep can temporarily reduce coordination. Most of these changes are mild, but together they can make everyday movement feel less automatic. Here's why this matters. Falls are not simply accidents. For many adults, they are the result of several small changes adding up over years. The encouraging news is that balance is highly trainable. Your nervous system continues adapting throughout life. Think of balance like learning to play a musical instrument. The more consistently you practice, the more confidently your brain coordinates every movement. Simple exercises can make a remarkable difference. Standing on one leg while holding on to a stable surface if needed, walking heel to toe, gentle yoga, tai chi, strength training focused on the legs and core. Even regular walking challenges your brain to constantly coordinate movement. Every time you safely practice balance, you're teaching your brain to become more efficient.
It's like updating the software that controls your body's movement. And perhaps most importantly, improving balance isn't only about preventing falls. It's about preserving confidence. Because confidence changes everything. People who trust their bodies tend to stay active. They walk more, travel more, play with grandchildren more, remain independent longer. Sometimes maintaining independence begins with something as simple as standing on one foot for 30 seconds each day. But here's something even more surprising. What if one of the clearest signs of accelerated aging has nothing to do with how you move, and everything to do with how quickly you recover? Let's talk about something almost everyone notices eventually. It takes your body much longer to bounce back. Think about your 20s. You could stay up late, wake up early, exercise hard, work all day, maybe even do it again the next morning. Your body seemed almost impossible to slow down. Cuts healed quickly. Sore muscles disappeared within a day or two. A poor night's sleep barely mattered. Now imagine your body as an incredibly busy repair crew, responsible for maintaining an entire city. Every day, tiny repairs are happening everywhere. Damaged muscle fibers are rebuilt. Skin renews itself. Hormones are carefully balanced. Proteins are recycled. Immune cells patrol for potential threats. Waste products are cleared away. This maintenance never stops, even while you're sleeping. When we are younger, that repair crew is large, fast, and incredibly efficient. Small problems are fixed before we ever notice them. But over time, the crew doesn't necessarily disappear. It simply has more work to do. Years of sunlight, stress, poor sleep, inflammation, environmental exposures, normal wear and tear, all gradually increase the number of repairs required. Imagine asking the same construction crew to maintain a town that keeps getting larger every year. Eventually, some projects take longer to finish. That's often what slower recovery feels like. Your body is still repairing itself. It simply needs more time. Here's where many people make an important mistake. They assume slower recovery means they should stop being active altogether. Ironically, the opposite is often true. Appropriate movement helps the repair system work better. Think about a river. When water flows steadily, it stays fresh. But when water becomes stagnant, debris begins to collect. Movement improves circulation. Circulation delivers oxygen. Oxygen helps tissues repair. Recovery isn't about doing less. It's about balancing activity with recovery. Sleep becomes more valuable.
Nutrition becomes more important. Protein matters more. Hydration matters more. Managing stress matters more. Recovery itself becomes part of healthy aging. And there's another powerful reminder hidden inside this idea. Growing older doesn't mean your body has stopped adapting. It means your body appreciates consistency more than intensity. Small healthy habits repeated every day often outperform occasional bursts of extreme effort. Now we've explored 6 warning signs that may suggest your body is aging faster than it needs to. But there is one final sign that quietly connects almost all of them together. It's often overlooked. It's rarely discussed. And understanding it may completely change the way you think about aging itself. We've talked about energy, strength, skin, memory, balance, recovery. At first glance, they may seem like completely separate parts of the body. But what if they're all connected by one common thread? What if they're all responding to the same invisible process happening quietly beneath the surface? This brings us to the 7th warning sign. Your body no longer adapts the way it used to. Think about how quickly you recovered from challenges 20 years ago. A stressful week at work, a poor night's sleep, a weekend of unhealthy eating. Your body usually found its way back to normal. Now imagine a young tree standing in the wind. The trunk bends, the branches sway. Then, when the storm passes, the tree returns to its original position. Now imagine an older tree that has slowly become dry and rigid. It doesn't bend as easily. Small cracks begin to appear. The same wind now leaves a lasting mark. Your body works in a surprisingly similar way. One of the hallmarks of healthy aging isn't avoiding stress altogether. That's impossible. It's the ability to recover after stress. Scientists sometimes describe this as resilience. Think of resilience as your body's flexibility, its ability to adapt, to repair, to return to balance after life's everyday challenges. When resilience is strong, a difficult week doesn't throw everything off. When resilience gradually weakens, even small disruptions seem to linger. You may notice that a single late night affects you for several days. A minor illness takes longer to recover from. Stress seems harder to shake. Your sleep becomes easier to disrupt. Your energy takes longer to return. None of these experiences automatically mean something is wrong, but together, they can suggest that your body's adaptive systems need more support than they once did. Here's something fascinating. Your body is constantly trying to maintain balance, every second of every day. Imagine a skilled tightrope walker carrying a long balancing pole. Wind pushes from one side. The performer gently shifts the pole. The rope moves. The body adjusts. Tiny corrections happen continuously. You rarely notice them. Your biology works exactly like that. Blood sugar rises after a meal. Your body responds. Body temperature changes. Your body adjusts. You exercise. Your heart beats faster, then gradually returns to normal. This remarkable ability to maintain internal balance is one of the defining characteristics of health.
The challenge is that as we age, these adjustments can become slightly slower or less efficient. But, and this is perhaps the most hopeful message in today's video, that process is not fixed. Modern research has transformed the way scientists think about aging. For decades, many believed aging was simply a countdown that couldn't be influenced. Today, we know the picture is much more encouraging. Genes matter, but so do daily choices. You cannot choose the year you were born, but every day you influence the environment those genes live in. Think of your genes as the blueprint for a house. The blueprint is important, but the way the house is maintained matters just as much. A well-maintained home can remain beautiful for decades. The same blueprint neglected over many years may look completely different. Your body responds to maintenance in much the same way. Every nutritious meal provides raw materials. Every good night's sleep allows repair crews to get to work. Every walk improves circulation. Every strength workout reminds your muscles that they are still needed. Every stress management habit gives your nervous system an opportunity to reset. None of these habits promise perfection. None can stop aging. And anyone who claims otherwise isn't being honest. Aging is a natural part of life. The goal isn't to avoid it. The goal is to age as well as possible. To preserve independence, to protect quality of life, to continue doing the things you love for as many years as possible. Because healthy aging isn't about looking 25 forever. It's about feeling capable at 60, confident at 70, independent at 80, and hopeful at every stage along the way. So let's bring everything together. If you've recognized one or even several of today's warning signs, please don't panic. These signs are not diagnoses, they are conversations. Your body is simply communicating with you, and the earlier we listen, the more options we usually have.
If persistent fatigue, unexplained weakness, memory changes, balance problems, slow recovery, or any other concerning symptoms are affecting your daily life, it's always worth discussing them with a qualified healthcare professional. Sometimes the explanation is surprisingly simple: low vitamin B12, iron deficiency, poor sleep quality, a medication side effect, thyroid problems, vitamin D deficiency, or another treatable condition that deserves proper evaluation. Listening to your body doesn't mean assuming the worst. It means being curious enough to ask questions. Here's something I'd like you to remember long after this video ends. Your body has been speaking to you every day, not through words, but through energy, movement, sleep, strength, memory, recovery. The question is no longer whether your body is sending messages. The question is whether we're willing to notice them. Because every healthy choice you make today is a conversation with your future self.
The walk you take this afternoon, the strength exercises you begin this week, the extra hour of sleep you protect tonight, the balanced meal you choose tomorrow. Individually, they may seem small, but over months and years, they become the foundation of healthier aging. Imagine standing at the top of a hill and looking down two different paths. The difference between them isn't dramatic at first, only a few inches, but mile after mile, those paths lead to entirely different destinations. Healthy aging often works the same way. Small decisions, repeated consistently, quietly shaping the years ahead. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this video has given you not fear, but understanding, not guilt, but motivation, and most importantly, the confidence that while none of us can stop time, we can influence how well we move through it. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with someone you care about. Sometimes one conversation, one new habit, or one simple decision can change the course of someone's future. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.